welcome to Husky Talk. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. They are one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of Husky Talk, and we appreciate everything that he's doing. And we are thrilled that his son, Ben, is healthy and on the mend, and we hope to see him very soon at a baseball game. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump in West Palm Beach, Florida. They specialize in tax plans for businesses, large or small. They will save you money or get you a big, fat return. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I got to see Pete a couple weeks ago when I visited Maria, and I met his lovely daughter. Pete is doing phenomenal. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, a construction beam fell on you at a site, your mother-in-law tried to run you over with her car, the Finch firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all over the state of Connecticut. He is not afraid of any insurance company. He will get you every dollar that you deserve in compensation. To contact him, all you have to do is go to thefinchfirm.com, and then remember, if you're ever in a pinch, call Finch. Dynamic Human Performance, owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. He trains boys and girls of all ages who play all different types of sports. He just started a new boot camp program where every day at 6 a.m. you can go in and work out. Andre will get you in shape 7 days a week. He also has an athletic development program. Boys and girls, pick your sport. He will train and develop you from the ground up, help you to reach your potential, and hopefully get you an opportunity to play in college. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for many different sports all over the country. To work with the best, he's in Hartford, Connecticut. Go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. Down south, we have Julius Williams and the Trench Mob. Julius trains offensive and defensive linemen. I don't know what's in the water in Decatur, Georgia, but there is something. I have never seen talent like the guys that he has. They do tournaments all over the country, 5 versus 5, offensive versus defensive linemen. And they are scored. There are rounds. Julius and the Trench Mob, they are currently ranked 2nd in the nation. He disputes this profusely and wants to make it known that he disagrees, and he believes that they should be ranked 1st, and is very upset and would like to appeal his ranking. Unfortunately, there is no appeals process. They are going to college camps right now. And if you want to work with the best, Julius has sent kids to Florida, Florida State, Miami, Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, the best of the best. If you want to work with Julius out of state, he has a program for you. He will talk with you on the phone. He will give you a training program that you can do from anywhere in the country, and he will be with you every step of the way. He will also help you with recruiting. To work with Julius, go to battleofthetrenches.com. And now for the lady of the hour, and she is back by popular demand, the lovely Cassie Kerns. Cassie, it is so wonderful to see you again.
And thank you for having me. I always enjoy it.
Thank you for having me. Cassie, I would have you every day if I could. You provide so much to the show, and you get more feedback than anyone. People really appreciate what you say and what you bring to the table, and you have definitely made a difference. So
Thank you.
congratulations, and we appreciate everything that you have shared, and I think that his um, helped people and made people not as concerned about asking for help. And that is something that is an epidemic because of the stigma behind mental health and certain issues, that people just won't ask for help, and things get worse until they just get out of hand. So I think that your contribution has been just incredible. So
Yeah, I think the biggest part of it is people hearing that people have gone through stuff, one, but also they normalize what they're experiencing so that they feel that they're not alone in what they're
exactly.
experiencing. Yeah.
And I think, people people see you,
Mhm.
people see the talent, and winning a national championship, playing at UConn, everything that you've gone through,
Mhm.
and seeing what Cassie's amazing. Like, if Cassie had problems and Cassie was able to work through them,
Mhm.
then I most certainly can work through them. So I think that
Absolutely.
that's made a difference, especially with our audience.
Hmm.
Um, One of the questions we had came from somebody just outside of Orlando. Her name
Hmm.
is Felicia.
Hmm.
She says, "Hi, Cassie. You have been a pleasure to listen to. I enjoy every time you talk with Stephen." She spelled my name wrong, but that's okay.
It's okay.
She Her question is, I know you're from Indiana. What
Hmm.
brought you to Florida?
So I'm a Pisces. I love water. I've always
Pisces.
loved water. I grew up on Lake Michigan.
So you have to talk
And
to me like I'm a 3-year-old. What's a Pisces?
a Pisces is an astrological sign, and you have certain dates in which you're
Oh,
born. And
oh,
so, yeah, so like each person, like if
so
you're a
I have one.
Pisces, yeah, of
Okay.
course. And so you'll have different characteristics pertaining to that sign. And a lot of times it's very insightful to understand a little bit about who you are.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, I'm a
So I got a Pisces.
Pisces, which is super creative, super empathic, super, it's a culmination of all signs together, but very peaceful, very, um, I think I said creative, but
You're
also a
very calm.
healer.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. And another thing is a fish is Pisces, so it's a water sign. So automatically we're usually attracted to water. And so I've always gravitated towards the water. Again, grew up on Lake Michigan.
Michigan.
Whenever I wanted to go for peace at places, I would go sit at the beach and kind of gather my thoughts. And um, here's a little bit more about me. So when I was in Indianapolis, I dated a powerboat racer, and yeah, and they came down to Sarasota as part of the rotation for races. And I
Oh, like the
fell,
circuit. Okay.
yep. So I fell in love with it, the place, Sarasota. And so one day, obviously, I'm not with the person anymore, but I woke up one day in Indianapolis. I was working for myself, I was doing art and modeling, and I was like, why
Yes.
am I still here in the middle of the country? And so
Yeah.
I signed a lease sight unseen. I had a friend pop by the place. I'm like, please check it out. I need a place to live. So she did. And then I packed up everything and drove
Never
down
look
here.
back. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Do you prefer freshwater or the ocean, would you say? Or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Each one has its different characteristics, but also salt water. Salt is a very healing property.
It
Um,
is. Okay.
so yeah.
All right. So a Pisces.
Hmm.
So you said it's based on your birth date.
Yeah.
Is that like the month
So it's
or the
so like a
day or?
Pisces. it's gonna be a day frame, like a open
Okay.
window. So like
So let's,
Pisces is like the end of February until like the middle of March.
okay. So you have to tell me what I am.
When's
I'm
your birthday?
April 22nd.
If you're April, so you're probably going to be in Aries or on the cusp of Taurus.
Are they
I
bad?
have no, they all have wonderful qualities. All
And
have
it's not
wonderful
borderline.
qualities.
Okay, good. I'm just busting on you. So I'm either an Aries or a Taurus. Okay.
Yes,
And
yes.
so
I
what are
challenge
some
you
of the
to look it up when
characteristics?
you're done.
Okay, okay.
Yes. I don't
Okay,
know your signs to a
okay,
T.
okay.
Um,
You know yours. I
yeah.
get what you're saying.
I know mine because I need to understand me, which
So
helps
that'll
me
help me.
understand. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. It
Is
says
that
different.
I was just curious, is it something like if you're working with someone, is it something that you ask them like
No,
when their birthday? Oh, you don't. Okay.
no, no, not at
Okay.
all. I
But
mean,
it's
well,
pretty
like if
accurate.
I'm in the hospital, I'm going to confirm their date of birth because I have to do that.
Right.
Obviously, at intake, you're going to take their date of birth. But if it's not something important to them, if it doesn't manifest to them, I'm not going to approach it. If they're
Okay.
open to it, I may start talking about it and say, hey, this may be beneficial to understand yourself
Oh,
a little bit more. Yeah.
and it's
So
and
it's based on ancient astrological stars things. So there's
wow.
a lot of people don't believe in it. That's perfectly fine. And there's a lot of people that do. So,
Okay.
mhm,
I will definitely look it up because
mhm,
I want to see how accurate it is.
mhm,
You have a, let's see, this is from Casey. Um,
mhm,
she says, hi, Cassie. Uh, my question has to
mhm,
do with mental health.
mhm.
I believe it gets pushed aside in our country. I've been told, and they tell us to suck it up. Do you see improvements being made that will show our need for mental health care improvement or
So
improvements in mental
one,
health
I just want to like validate your question and the thing that you propose because it's true. A lot of places in our country, they tell us to minimize
care?
kind of what we're experiencing and kind of the old-fashioned way of the American way is pull yourself up out of your bootstraps and keep pushing. But guess what? That doesn't help.
No, no,
and
of course not.
I think there's a lot of professionals out there that are really pushing forward with mental health. Like in the hospital, years ago, mental health was not considered anything, and now we have a whole mental health team in the hospital to address patients, but also to address providers, meaning we make more consistently flow with care. So there are changes, but it is happening slowly. But I do believe that there's changes.
There are changes happening, and
Yeah,
you've even seen it, witnessed it in your own hospital.
yeah.
So it's definitely moving in the right direction.
Moving in the right direction, but I will say it needs to still improve where it's at.
What would you say would be the biggest improvements that you would like to see happen in the next few years?
Oh wow.
And I'm sure there's a lot,
In
but
the next few years, I really think that our children population is being left in the dark and
wow.
that the mental health needs to kind of not infiltrate but be more present in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, to kind of be preventative service to when you get to college and you fall flat on your face or you end up with addiction. And I think a lot of the issues that we experience as adults stem as children. So if we can interject and interfere in that population, I think there could be a transformation in what people experience in life.
That makes a lot of sense because
Yeah.
I remember going to elementary school and high school, and I don't
Mhm.
think we even had a school psychologist or any
No,
therapy whatsoever. So
no.
yeah, that makes
Well,
sense.
yeah.
Okay, this is from Christine.
Hmm.
She says, "Hi Cassie, I play volleyball in Texas.
Boop, boop.
I'm in 10th grade now.
Hmm.
I'm I'm 6'4", which makes my overall life miserable.
Oh.
Everyone says I should be grateful having scholarship offers. Apparently, she's been offered scholarships.
Hmm.
Truth is, I feel like a disgusting giant. Boys are scared. I tried acting like it's no big deal and I can't win. Girls don't like me. Teammates are jealous. I went to our formal with a few friends and I didn't get to wear high heels. I want to be normal. How do you manage being tall? Wow, that's a
So first off, I want
oh,
to give you a big hug.
I am
That
sorry. Wow, that was
that was
long.
that was a lot of information in that little paragraph. But
Well,
I
she wrote more. I didn't read it all, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Um, but
I
one thing
that's
one
sad.
thing
Wow.
that my mom really ingrained as in me was to always be proud of my height and to almost equate it as a superpower, as if because no one else has your height
You can't
and
teach
no
it.
one else could be you. And um, I know I was very different as being a tall woman because I would always wear high heels. Wherever I went, I don't care if I'm a head taller than people. I will wear the stilettos. I will wear the 7-inch heels because I know I'm a badass.
You
But
definitely are.
I feel your pain and I understand what you're going through is very, very uncomfortable because you're at an age where you want to be accepted, you want to be liked by your peers. And my advice is to, well, I know you asked, how do I manage being tall? But I think that has to do a lot with self-esteem. Um, and I think a lot of assistance that could be provided to you is maybe talking to a therapist and kind of work on those things and kind of changing your perspective on
Yeah.
rather than focusing on the negatives, see all the positives. Because with that s-
You're
paragraph, I'd be
you're
like,
empowered by it for
of
sure.
course, of
Yeah.
course. And I kind of would tell you, like, listen, no one else is 6'4". That is your superpower. And guess what? You're going to go to college for free.
Yeah.
You can say suck it to everyone else.
She can. Um,
Right.
did it ever bother you to date someone who was shorter than you?
No,
Okay, that's what
no.
I because girls
Let's
always
see.
say that, and I always wondered like what the big deal was, but
No. See, my thought is if a shorter guy is confident enough to be around me in high heels, then they are confident in themselves
yes,
so that they don't have low self-esteem. And so I don't have to worry about their self-esteem.
right, okay,
Hmm.
that again makes a lot.
So like my husband, he's shorter than me. He's,
Okay,
I think he's 5'11".
right, but
Yeah.
he has no issues going out with you at all. No issues with you being taller than him
No, no.
because he's a lawyer and he's confident. And
Oh my God.
self
Hmm.
confidence is everything. It's very important. I totally
Hmm.
agree.
Hmm.
Um, you had a question from Maria.
Hmm.
I don't think it's Maria Conlon, but it might be. Uh,
That'd be
your
funny if it was.
your son is so cute. With so spelled with like 8 O's.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Yeah. How do you balance motherhood with your other interests? She said.
That is a really good question.
Oh,
Because
she has.
when you become a mom, I will
Yeah.
say there's something in your brain that just clicks and you just know what to do. Yes, there's challenges, but you kind of have the mother instinct. And I know I had to sacrifice a lot of things, meaning um, I didn't, still don't create a lot of artwork like I used to. But I
Mm.
kind of transformed a level of understanding of how I could still be creative and be a mom. And so I can fill myself up and still do those things in a different way.
Right,
Um, I
right. Because your time
also,
is limited, so I get
yeah,
that.
and also the balance, the work-life balance of being able to take care of myself too, not neglect myself, meaning doing self-care,
Self-care.
make sure I'm working out. I go to therapy, the therapist goes to therapy, and also do things that, even if it's for 10 minutes, that brings me joy.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
It does. It
All the
does.
difference in
And
the
I
world.
and I think a big part of it is because my thinking a lot of times in the past is like all or nothing thinking. That's why I think I'm so good at things because I'm so entrenched in it. But after having him, he really helped like balance that thinking process out, which I thought was pretty amazing. And I know before Luke was born, a lot of the things like my addictions, the eating disorder, I always describe it like you can be sober, but that eating disorder is still in the room somewhere. It's just you don't talk to it, you don't acknowledge it. But when I had him, that whole feeling of an eating disorder just went away.
Oh, so during your pregnancy, it went away,
Um,
or it started
Yeah.
to.
I wouldn't say like when I say it went away, yes, I was sober from eating disorder behaviors and thoughts for years. But I would be lying to say that it didn't exist in my room or in my space.
Right.
Does that make sense? So when he came and he was born, that whole thought was just completely eradicated. So like it was never present anymore. So that was really a
Wow.
freeing moment. Very therapeutic moment, actually.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
And I've heard you say this a few times. So,
Hmm.
do you consider an eating disorder an addiction?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
can you talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old? Can you just explain why?
So so imagine, let's see. So a substance, let's say you drink alcohol, you consume alcohol, and usually the consumption of alcohol or substances is because it's a coping strategy. Your needs aren't getting
Very,
met.
very true.
So an eating disorder is the same way. It's a coping strategy for your needs not getting met. But unfortunately, food is needed to live.
Exactly.
So imagine your substance being presented to yourself every single day, saying you have to take this. But an alcoholic just has to stop drinking.
Right. Right.
Right.
And you have food being presented to you every
Right.
day. So
Right.
I
Right.
okay.
Right. And so let's say
So,
anorexia. Anorexia is the anxious side. Anorexia is where you're trying to control everything in your life, but the only thing you can control is what you consume and what you perceive of your body. But eating disorders are usually associated with, I hate myself. And so you take out the hate on yourself rather than direct it at other people.
so it's more associated with like self-loathing and
Uh-huh.
just low
Hmm.
self-esteem.
Low self-esteem, low
Wow.
self-worth. It's a common, eating disorders are common to be paired with borderline personality disorders. Um, there's also multiple diagnosis usually intertwined in there, like PTSD. Um,
Right, right.
because a lot of people that experience eating disorders also experienced abuse.
Trauma. Right.
Right, right, right. Yep. And
Okay.
so
Wow.
the binge purging disorder all has to do with anger because it's such an angry act. So people that binge and purge usually stuff all their feelings down with food. And it gets to a point where it gets so much and they get so angry that they regurgitate it, which is expressing their anger, but really taking it out on themselves. So it
Oh,
makes you feel better, but it just self perpetuates the disorder and even harder to get out of.
um, if you don't mind me asking, and you
Mhm,
don't have to answer this, I
mhm,
just my own curiosity. How
mhm.
long would you say that you had an eating disorder?
Well, they're complex because
Oh,
they breed on this foundation usually of your upbringing and if you're given tools, healthy coping strategies. Okay.
yes.
So that's that. And then I'm trying to think. I think it started um maybe my obsession with like food of like really trying to control because I wasn't getting playing time, so I was trying to control what I could. And that was how fit could I be? How in shape could I be? And I got in
You
really, really, really
you
good
were
shape.
you were always in great. I thought you were always in great shape.
Well, the mind plays tricks
Uh,
with you and
right,
it
right.
says, I'm not good enough. It
Yes,
must be this. Rather
absolutely.
than having a conversation about it, you internalize it because that's what I've always done in the past is internalize things and try to figure out a solution on my own terms. And so I got in really good shape. Um, I was praised for my physique and how I was able to accomplish things. And then that just kept escalating. It just wasn't enough for me.
Oh, okay. I
And
see.
then it got to a point where like I would just consume coffee during the day.
Would it make you like physically ill to see food sometimes?
No, I would
Oh,
just
okay.
be because it started off with anorexia
Right.
and,
So you
and
where you just
restricting.
wouldn't eat. Right.
And then it gets to a point where your body's like, all right, if I get a taste of food, I'm not going to be able to stop. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I would start eating and I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't physically stop." And so I would get to so I had anorexia binge purging type. So it was a combination of anorexia and bulimia, which is not good.
Geez, both. Okay.
Yeah. I definitely should have been dead a couple times, but by the grace of God, I'm still kicking.
Saying
Um,
like your weight got that low that it was that dire of a situation.
yes. So
Oh
and the
God.
point and the thing is that's intertwined with eating disorders is that you're so mentally unstable that
Yes.
you think that you are obese. You think you are this thing that doesn't even exist. So when you look in a mirror, what you see is not reality. And the only way to really see the reality is to start eating food, um, having intensive therapy, and really kind of reframing um, your core roots and
I do, yeah.
reframing kind of what you see.
Yeah. No, I just I remember them saying like when you're in active addiction,
Mhm.
you see yourself completely different than how other
Absolutely.
people see you, you know,
Absolutely.
and that plays a huge part in it. That's what I
Mhm.
was always told.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's why I say that eating disorders are addiction.
right. Okay.
Mhm.
So that
Because
makes
it's
a lot more
rooted
sense.
in the same thing.
Yeah,
It's just a different substance.
exactly. Exactly. Okay. Um, Mariah asked, so Cassie, what has changed the most about you since becoming a mom? I mean, you've kind of answered
Um,
that, but I mean, time
I would
management, obviously,
I
not
would
as much
say
art, but
I would say time management, but it's like I don't have time for the bullshit that I normally put up with from myself.
yeah, right.
So it's like, I'm like, I don't have time for that. What is the solution? Okay, we're gonna go with that. And like really trusting my gut rather than like taking like a day to make a effing decision on something. Now I'm really clear, direct, precise. Because
Amen.
children are, I would, well, I would say a relationship with like a partner is your biggest teacher, but also another biggest teacher to present in your life is a child. One, you are keeping this thing alive. Two, it's a culmination of yourself and your partner. And a lot of things you may dislike about yourself or qualities that you love show up in your child. So a lot of it is a self-reflection reflective piece. Um, but also like realizing like, hey, I know myself so much that this is not going to be a problem being a mom. So
Were you nervous during your pregnancy about becoming a mom? Like, did you have that fear, or did you just
oh,
kind of feel like I was
well,
born to do this? I'm going to be okay.
well, I was told by medical healthcare providers because of what I did, I wouldn't have children.
Oh,
So when I c-
oh, wow.
when I came pregnant, I was like, okay, obviously I can get pregnant. And so coming to terms with that, and hormones are no joke.
No,
So
not.
so being pregnant was, I would say, was pretty difficult.
It was a difficult
Being sick
pregnancy.
all the time.
Yeah,
Um, and just like the anticipation of like what's around the corner, am I ready to do this, am I gonna fuck this up?
yeah. I can't even
But
imagine.
right, but I know I'd be okay at it.
But like, it wasn't. I know some women or girls like grow up. Their lifelong dream is to be a mother. You
Oh,
would
that was
say that that was
definitely
not
not
you.
mine.
That was
No, no,
that was not you. But it
no,
turned out great, and you love being a mom
absolutely.
now.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely, I wouldn't trade it for really anything because
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your son's awesome.
He
Um,
is.
this comes from, I guess, Georgia.
Mhm.
Who is your best friend from UConn?
That's a good
Would you say?
question. um I think I think it all ebbs and flows through time shifts,
Yeah, yeah, because
um,
we're all in different
in
places.
different areas of your life. But I will say that when we all go back to the Final Four or to
Yeah,
reunions, we kind of pick up where we left off. And it's just great to hang out with everybody.
I see
And
everyone.
right. And we also keep in touch with each other through
Yeah,
text message. We have a group
it's amazing.
thread, and I wouldn't say I have a best friend from there, um, but I have a lot of friends.
Did you go to Indianapolis when they went to the Final Four? Because it was your hometown, sort
Yes,
of.
what was that? Like
Two
2016?
years ago? Yeah, or
Not
yeah,
not 2 years ago.
3 years
Not
ago? No, it
mm.
was long. It was longer than that. Okay.
When they did
Marie and
when
I
they
took
did
it this way.
but when they did go to Indianapolis when I was living there, definitely went to that. Um, I remember driving everybody around because I lived right next to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Oh, you were right there. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure it's kind of similar, like myself with the football players. When you get back
Mhm.
with the group, it's you just pick up like
Mhm.
you never stop, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's such a great relationship to have.
It is.
Um, it's I was at my friend's wedding a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and just seeing guys that I haven't seen in 4 or 5 years, and it's just crazy how it's like you're
Yeah.
still in the locker room and it's never changed.
Right.
And I'm getting made fun of for my suit jacket, but that's how it was. Uh, that's me. Um, Letitia,
Mhm.
she asks, "What sport do you watch most?" And I would say, I don't think
Mm.
you have time to watch sports, but
I definitely do not have time to watch sports, but I love watching women's basketball, obviously, especially collegiate. I just love the way that they play. Um,
yeah,
I will say the WNBA is growing on me because of the competitiveness. Um, as well. And obviously, I have a lot of friends that are playing, so it's fun to watch. Um, Football. I like to watch football.
Really?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Um, College or pro, would you say more so?
Uh, it's a good question. I want to say I enjoy watching pros better than college. Um,
And you
Unless it's
understand the
like,
game? I know you said
yeah,
your old man was a coach, so you probably do.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so
yeah.
you, I mean,
I understand the game. I understand
you'll
what's going on.
you can sit down for 3.5 hours and watch a football game and get into
Hmm.
it and enjoy it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, do you have a favorite team per se? I mean, are you a
Um,
Colts fan or?
no, I never was a Colts fan. So I grew up right outside Chicago, so Chicago was always my team. But again, Chicago's like a waste of
Ah,
time.
yeah. I apologize for that.
You'll
Yes.
like watch the first 5 minutes and you're like, okay, that's enough, and then switch to something else. But my husband is a huge, huge Giants fan. So Giants is always
Really?
on the, yeah. Well, he grew up right outside New York City. So
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was a huge Giants fan as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
so he obviously likes to watch the Giants.
Yep.
Have you been able to go to a game or go to the new stadium since it's been open?
We haven't, but we definitely would love to do
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
awesome that he's a
Yeah.
Giants fan.
Yeah. And I mean, he is such a sports nut. He'll watch sport like he's loving what's going on now because it's hockey, then basketball game, then a hockey game. They alternate days because the
Right,
Stanley
right.
Cup and the Pacers.
And the NBA
Hello,
Finals.
hello.
Oh, Maria is going to get shot because she predicted Oklahoma City in 5 games,
Oh,
and
sorry.
she got called out on it on the show we did yesterday,
Yeah,
and she doubled down on it again and said they're going to win in 6 games max. And I
yeah. Yeah.
the comments coming in are phenomenal, and I cannot wait to give it to her. Um, so this question comes from Lisa.
Hmm.
She says, Cassie, you have been through so much and overcome adversity. She said, I get adversity makes us
Hmm.
stronger, but if you continue having problem after problem, doesn't it wear you down?
Those are some good questions. So first of
I
all,
wish I could ask good questions. These people ask
I
better
bet you
questions
can.
than
I bet they're there.
me.
But adversity does make you stronger due to what you're learning during those times of adversity. So, a lot of times when a challenge is presented to yourself, you either try to go around it, which you either find something else, or you fall back, you retreat, or you kind of work on the problem. And when you're working on the problem, a lot of the times it has to do with you, either your perception,
Right.
either internal struggle, something along those lines. So when you're working through that, you gain better insight to yourself, what that struggle really is, and how you can get through it. And so when you get through the adversity step, that one, you've gained tools, but yeah, it was hard as fuck. And so when you come to something, another challenge, you have more equipment to battle that adversary in your life.
Because you've been through the
And
other.
yeah, and the thing is I hate society and how it tells us that life is supposed to be great, life is perfect, life is all sunshine and rainbows, and I'm like, well, fart on that shit. But it's not. It's
Yeah,
hard,
it's not.
and it's hard. It is hard. Life is hard. I wish
It is.
somebody would tell you that when you're young.
No, they don't tell you
And
that.
no, and you kind of go through life thinking that, okay, I'm doing this wrong because life is hard. What's wrong with me? But there's really nothing wrong with you. It's just that life happens and we have to figure out how to get through it.
God, I feel like I'm talking to my therapist. Um,
I'm better.
Yeah, you are better.
I'm
Um,
kidding.
no, you are. You are.
Mhm.
Yeah, you haven't called me Ted Bundy yet, so you win the award. Um,
I can't believe that. Anyway.
so this comes from Madeline.
Mhm.
She asks, what types of music do you like?
It's a good
Obviously,
question.
because you're
I what?
creative and artsy, I'm sure you
Yeah.
have a specific type of music that.
I don't. I love
Oh,
all types of music. So,
really?
a lot of my painting, like art pieces, are created to certain songs that I listen to. And usually I title it as part of the song. Um, but
Wow.
a lot of those are like Christian-based songs. But I love listening to EDM. I love listening to rap. I love Lil Wayne. I love Eminem.
Taylor Swift.
I love country. I'm a Swift fan. Um, so anything you really name it, I listen to. Like if it strikes me to think differently and start processing something differently, I love it because that's a therapeutic technique in itself. I mean, if you can just listen to a song and either redirect yourself to think a different way or start healing yourself in a different way, I think there's some magic in that. So I love
Is
all
that
music.
like a coping mechanism, would you say,
Absolutely.
Andy?
Yeah. So
Oh,
some
okay.
music therapy that I do with patients is something that I learned when I was in treatment. But I print off lyrics of songs and I play the song and I give like 10 minutes afterwards of listening to the song for you to kind of like verbal vomit in a journal. And then we kind of process that when you're done and kind of see what that song meant to you. What did it provoke? What did it make you feel? And kind of grow from there because a lot of people they don't benefit from talk therapy. A lot of people need
No, they
something
don't.
different. A lot of
Yes,
people need experiential therapies, which are your art therapy, your music therapy, your horse therapy, equine therapy, or writing, or um, what's the other one? Even exercise, like taking a client to the gym to learn how to exercise, that's
you
therapy.
you've done that. You've taken
Mhm.
client. Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I know
it's the
releases endorphins,
natural,
and yeah,
yeah, it's a natural antidepressant. I mean, it makes your serotonin
yeah.
shoot off. And so if you can exercise to prevent yourself from going into depression or needing an antidepressant, wouldn't you rather exercise? Yes.
100%. Yeah. Wow.
So it just depends
That's
on what
awesome.
the client or the patient needs, because everyone's different. Because if you treat everybody the same, then you're missing it.
So you're saying that you could put a song on
Hmm.
and then just start painting
Hmm.
off of the feelings and emotions and the thought
Hmm.
process from the lyrics or from the music of the song, and
Yeah,
that's how you create your artwork.
some of it, yes.
Wow, that's impressive. That's
Yeah.
impressive. I mean, it's got to be multiple songs, right? It can't just be one song. Like you probably listen
Well,
to.
sometimes I'll listen to it on repeat
Oh, right.
until I get kind of the feeling and the content I want on the painting, and then I can kind of go off of that. But a lot of the times it's started because of a song.
Right. Oh,
Hmm.
right. That makes sense. Um, oh, okay. Uh, th- well, this comes from Brian.
Mhm.
Cassie, do you believe in online dating? I want no, that's that. Oh, Brianna, I'm sorry. Wow. Do you believe? I hope it's
Do you need
Brianna.
glasses?
No, well, it's small. Do you believe in online dating? I want to meet a man, but people only date online. I'd like to meet a man the old-fashioned way by going out.
Well, I think you've made a declaration right there. Like you want to do it this way, so guess what? Do it that way. Not everybody wants to date online, but if you do, it works.
It
So
does.
I don't think one thing is an end all be all. Like one of my best friends, she met someone online and they're married. They're married now. And I think it was great for her because she needed something different besides meeting all these assholes at a bar.
99% of guys are assholes, unfortunately. I,
Right. Right.
I,
But go for it.
I can't apologize for the entire male race, but yeah,
I know.
we're pretty much assholes. I apologize, but that does
You're
make
just
sense.
you're just dense.
I am very
Not
dense.
you, males. Males in general are dense.
Well, I am too. I'm a little dense.
But to
th-
give you some advice pertaining to that. So
sure, yeah, give me advice. Yeah,
I'm a huge believer in manifestation. So this was it a woman that asked this question about dating?
Brianna, yes.
Yeah. So Brianna, I'm big into manifesting. Maybe it could work for you too. But I always make lists of things that I want. And I'm very, very specific on writing down what it is. So if you want a man that's 6'3" or taller, write down on a piece of paper, 6'3" or taller. What color of skin would you like? What do you want them to do? Where would you
Wow,
like to meet this person? And really, it's because when you focus on certain things, things show up.
that
So
is
if you're
true.
focused, so if you're
Is that what?
focusing on a lot of negative things, the negativity shows up. But if you constantly focus on exactly what you want and are very, very clear in the description and the depiction of what you want, I guarantee if you hold the vision, it will happen.
Is that something that's comparable to like the law of attraction?
It's similar, but I think it's a little bit more powerful than that.
Okay. I read a little bit about the law of
Hmm
attraction.
hmm hmm
That's why I asked. Um, Morgan wants to know, Cassie, you're beautiful inside and out. On the last show, you mentioned about opening your own practice.
hmm
Doing so, what areas would you like to specialize in as far as mental health disorders?
That's a really good question. Um,
I gotta ask
and
one.
I'm not sure yet because um, I could do any of it. I could do children, I could do adults, I could do substance use, I could do eating disorders, I could do personality disorders, I could do whatever. So I don't know if I'm going to limit myself to what I'm doing because I
Because
think that
you can
might
do it all. Yeah.
that might put me in a box. But at the same time, I think I do want to get certain certifications to help a lot of struggling
Oh,
populations in which um, regular therapy is not conducive. For example, I do want to get licensed in transference focused psychotherapy, which is, I don't know how long it's been around, but it's not really well known. But when you get certified in this, it's really helping with personality disorders, specifically narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder.
really? Say
Yep.
that again. Transference what?
Focused psychotherapy.
All right, I'm gonna find out if my
Yep.
therapist does transference, whatever psychotherapy.
If
That's a
they're an
good one.
LMHC, no. So the only
Okay.
professionals
Yeah.
that can do it are LCSWs or a
She's
PhD or a
she
medical professional.
she's an LMHC. God damn it. Okay. No, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
You also talked about possibly getting your PhD.
Yes.
Is that something you're still considering in the near future?
I have it on my vision board. I have it. I
A
know it will
vision board.
happen. I just don't. It's like the manifestation I was just talking about, like the
Oh,
list of
so I got to
things.
make a list and I need a vision board.
Well, that helps you. If you see it every single day, you could be like, that's what I'm doing. That's
Uh,
what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Um, but I'm trying to, so a lot of times I put it out into existence of something that I want to do, and I keep on doing life. And then one day part of it shows up and I'm like, all right, I'm ready, and then go. So
Are
that's kind of
you
what I'm
saying
waiting for.
are you saying it's impulsivity?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. So when I see, so like my life is full of people coming into my life at certain times where I'm like, huh, why are you here? And then asking questions, you're like, oh, that's why you're here. Because I asked for this a year ago. Okay. So, and then I connect the lines, and then that's when
Oh,
I seize the opportunity.
got you. That's interesting. Um, and I know you would also talked about your faith,
Mhm.
your religious. Someone would you say you're more religious than spiritual? Are you a
Yeah.
set religion? Are you non-denominational? What are your religious beliefs, if you care to share them?
So I am all about relationship. I'm all about loving people where they are, because that's what Jesus did.
He did.
And transforming people through love to get them to where they ultimately desire to go as a human being. But I also believe that God created us to be like Him, which is a creator. So I think we have a lot of power in creating our life and creating our realities. And so, and that's where like kind of the manifestation comes into place,
Right.
and things like that, if that makes sense.
I mean, do you go, do you like attend church? Do you go to mass, or is it more like spirituality? I mean, do you read the Bible,
No,
anything like that?
no,
Oh, okay. I was just
no.
curious
I,
about
I
that.
used to. I read the Bible front to back probably 10 times. I would
Yeah,
go to
I didn't
church.
understand it. Yeah.
I would, I mean, I took a class in college to dissect the Bible to understand it from a Jewish perspective, I think an Islamic perspective, and something else. Christian perspective. That was it. Because I wanted to understand, I mean, because to be honest, it is a book written by
Yeah,
man,
it's very
right?
confusing.
Uh, And so things get lost in
Yeah.
translation. And I
Yes.
wanted to understand the real meaning or the real purpose of words, meaning I wanted to read in between the lines so I could understand why it was there.
Okay.
Does that make
And
sense?
did it help you from the different
Yes.
perspectives? And
Yes.
did each, like, you know, from a Jewish perspective or an Islam perspective, was it completely different the way they viewed the Bible
Um, I wouldn't say it was learning how to view the Bible, but it was learning
or
how
interpreting?
in that present time of why it was written, how it was written, and what we did lose in translation to understand why it is where it is today.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Mhm.
I didn't even know we
Yeah,
had that offered at UConn. I guess I
we
missed that
did.
one.
I
I missed
randomly
that.
found it.
I missed that part. That's
I
funny.
know.
Okay. Um, you have been doing this for so long. You've worked in a hospital setting.
Hmm.
Um, you're, I got, okay, this is Cindy. You're multi-talented as far as with your artwork, you model, and you're a mental health therapist. You're also a mother. What do you love best? And I know there's
Mm.
there's no way to answer that.
I guess the thing that's constant through it all is I love myself, not in a
Yeah,
selfish or egotistical way, but like I thoroughly love
no,
me to
and
the
I can see
point
that.
that I can, that I'm healthy and that I can do all these things that I want to do, anything that I put my mind to. There's no limit. And I think that's beautiful. So like if I decide, you know what? I want to become a lawyer. I promise you I would be a lawyer. I know I would make it
I believe
happen.
that too. I think we could send you to NASA and you'd be an astronaut.
Right, right. I might, it'd be really cramped, but
No, but that's just the way that you
Right.
think. I mean,
And I think it's so freeing and so magical to know that I'm so lucky that I finally, like, I get it. I get life at a young age in which people are so struggling to find the purpose.
very
And
much
I un
so.
and I understand the pain of trying to figure that out, but I'm on the other side of knowing, like, all the work I put into it is so fucking worth it.
Yeah. Can you give me a hint on the purpose? Just like a tidbit.
You're gonna hate me for this.
No,
So
there's nothing that you can say that would make me hate you unless you called me Ted Bundy.
I'm not gonna call you that. But your purpose is for you to discover in your own special way.
Right.
I can only give you
I
ideas of how to
right.
discover that. I can only give you suggestions of maybe what worked for me, maybe it will work for
Right.
you. But the
But
beauty is in the art of discovery.
it's
And
your own
that's
journey.
why and that's why I believe all of us are artists because we have that capacity, we have the capability to create. It's just our society has told us that's not okay.
So it's more about you really have to find yourself. You have to go on your own
Mhm,
journey. You have to have your own
mhm,
path,
mhm.
and that will kind of tell you
Of
what your
course.
meaning is or where you need to
Of
go.
course. Of
Okay.
course, because no one can tell you what you're here for.
Right.
You're the spirit, you're the soul that has chosen this human body in this form to learn what experience. And that's the life journey of trying to figure that out.
Um,
I know that's deep.
well, like I said, I have the mind of a 3-year-old. You're he I just I've this is the third time I've been able to talk to you, and it's been a pleasure every time.
Mhm,
I've just seen you happier and
mhm.
just so confident and strong. Um, have you always been that way, or would you say that it came on like recently? Because you just seem like just this really put together, powerful woman who has a
Mhm,
lot of confidence, believes in
mhm,
herself, and
mhm.
has goals and direction from
I
what
will
I see.
say in bits and parts of my life, I had different sections of it. Like I
Yeah.
would have certain bits of confidence, but really self-love and like really hate myself.
Yes.
And in other periods of time, like I would fake it because I was like, I'm gonna fake it till I make it. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
that
that's not
doesn't work.
working.
Yeah, I know
No.
it.
Um, but again, it's just and sorry, your question was, did this happen recently?
Well, yeah,
Um,
every time I've talked with you, you
mhm,
just have seemed so happy. You seem so confident,
mhm,
and you just seem like you have a great path and direction that you're on. And I'm just happy that to see you as happy as
mm.
you are,
Oh, thank
and to
you.
see
Thank
you
you.
smile, and
Mhm,
to see everything that you're doing,
mhm,
because you're, like I don't know you particularly well, but I can see you're just a very good listener. You're very intuitive, and you're very empathetic and sympathetic towards people, and
mhm,
you legitimately want to help them.
mhm.
And I don't think there's
Yeah,
a lot of people out there who do. So
I would
that's
agree with
really
you there. And I
that's what has stood
appreciate
out.
you pointing that out.
That's what has really stood out to me in
Yeah.
our time together. And I think that's why the questions and comments that come in,
Mhm,
um, your your path really resonates with people, and the way you are now resonates with people,
mhm.
and they love hearing from you, and you
Yeah.
are 1,000 times smarter than I'll ever be. And any
No.
yes, when anytime you speak, like you speak from the heart, and you speak so intelligently that
Mm,
it just makes sense. And I think that's why people ask questions and people want your feedback,
yeah,
because you
yeah.
give great answers.
Well, thank
and
you.
you give answers that make a difference.
Well,
And
thanks.
I think
Thanks.
that's why they keep coming
And
back.
and I love that you guys ask questions because I always tell patients and
They,
clients, like, if you don't ask questions, you're not going to get answers. And that's kind of what you want out of life. You want answers. So there's no harm in asking a question. And I will say that my responses, the way that you see me now, the way that I articulate, definitely all through learned experiences. Like I would
well,
never be able to talk this way unless I would have done the work.
exactly. And I can tell you, I've done probably well over 200 episodes of just Husky Talk
Hmm.
alone.
Hmm.
And you have by far gotten the most questions and feedback than anyone.
Well,
Um,
awesome.
People
I'll
than
take
who
it.
had one episode. I mean, you get more feedback and questions than anyone. People
Hmm.
just appreciate the time that you've given,
Hmm.
and people give a lot of value to what you have to say. I give a lot of value to what you have to say, and
Thank
I know
you.
you're still not going to tell me if I have borderline personality, but that's okay.
I will
Um,
not. I need at least a couple months.
I know. But listen, thank you so much for taking the time to come on again. And
No problem.
you have a very big following. I can tell you that.
Good.
Um, you have right now just on YouTube alone, wow, 7,200 people watching.
Cool.
So I hadn't had an audience that large. So you have a following, you have a gift. I know you
And
mentioned doing a podcast, and
hmm
I you definitely should, because you
I
you
will.
you have a following on a podcast that I mean, it's not your podcast. You have a
Yeah.
following. You have a following on my podcast. So it's
Hey, it's a
incredible.
good start, right?
But thank you again. I always enjoy the time I get to speak with you, and I learn a lot about myself. And then
Oh, that's
I
good.
don't hate my therapist as much. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. I just have to mention Ned Von Young, Fresh himself, Fresh Fold Laundry Company, right outside of Chapel Hill. They have a high-end laundry service. You book online, you drop your laundry off, it's washed, dried, folded for you at Land Speed Records, and you pick it up. They also have an online subscription model, weekly or bi-weekly. They have deals for college students. Ned Von Young has been open since January, and Fresh Fold is doing wonderful. Go to their website. It is freshfold-laundry.com to see all the services they have to offer. And for Cassie Kerns, former UConn national champion, mental health therapist, artist, model, mother, 45 jobs. I can't list
Yep.
them all. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you
And
for having me. It was my pleasure, and I would love to do it again.
I, you may, I don't know. You got comments already, so you may have to do
Awesome.
it.
And that's
Um,
fine.
just remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take two oranges, throw them right back at life. Wow, great job, Cassie. Great
Thank
job.
you.
You were phenomenal. My God,
Thanks.
I never had this kind of viewership. So you have a following, you have an audience, you have a gift, and if you choose to do this, you could easily do a podcast, and
Yep.
you could easily get sponsors. I promise you that.
Yep. So yeah, I'm putting my game plan together for that right now, what that looks
Good.
like, and because I want to make sure I launch it in the right way so that I don't. Yeah, I want to be somewhat all inclusive with website, podcast, offers for therapy and things like that, all in the same location.
Would you start your own practice like in the fall? Is that something you're looking to do? If things work
I'm gonna
out,
say I'm gonna say springtime.
springtime. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Beautiful. Well,
Yep.
you're obviously welcome on here anytime. And if you need any help with your podcast, I would do anything possible. You're welcome to use my platform. It streams to
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Indeed,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, and Twitter. So it goes everywhere. And
Cool. I really appreciate that. And I definitely am gonna pick your brain
I
and
would
figure
do
things out.
anything to help you because
Awesome.
your appearances have been a huge help for me.
No
So
problem.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I
And I hope you
appreciate
have
it.
a wonderful day.
And I'm gonna make some clips too, so you'll see clips of this. Your clips are incredible. If you've seen the
Awesome.
viewership on your clips, they're huge. So I can't wait to
Awesome.
do that.
Okay.
So you take care. Thank you again.
Thanks. No problem. And
And
I'll talk to you soon.
if you decide I have borderline, just text me. Okay. Take care.